Hello, Tribe community. This is Amy from Tribe Yoga. We teach resilience, increased balance, and endurance. And we are a nonprofit organization that works to bring the tools of yoga to the active duty community. Each Monday at 9 a.m., I lead a movement practice, and I usually alternate between a self-care, self-awareness movement where we just focus on an individual body part, usually a little bit more calmer, really like a form of concentration, meditation through movement. And then on the alternating weeks, I lead an active movement practice. And that's one of these weeks. So today we are doing a sliding practice to build some strength. So if you have a washcloth or an old kitchen towel, a t-shirt, I have used old boxers. Well, actually they were new boxers and my husband didn't like the style, or a blanket, lots of options. So go get one of those. And by doing, and if you can, and I'm sorry, those are all if you have a hard surface. If you only have carpet, you can use like a paper plate is probably the best bet on a carpet. So I'll give you a minute to go and get those items. I'll also be on a mat, but not necessary really. If you don't have one of those today, you can always use we will be on our knees, so a blanket for a little bit if you don't have a mat. And we will get started in just a minute. And the benefits of this sort of sliding practice are to engage the muscles more in a pulling way. Yoga is a practice that very much focuses on pushing, right? We're often pushing into the floor with our chaturangas, pushing up from the floor when we're rising from a hands down position to a standing. And strength building requires this balance of pushing and pulling. And so to bring in these pulling aspects of yoga, you usually have to really focus and actively do it. And one way to do that is through these pulling movements with the blankets or the washcloth. So we'll go ahead and get started in a seated position. I always like to sit up on a blanket or a pillow. Here I'll sit up on a blanket, and when I come to sit on the blanket, I'm going to sit just at the edge so that my hips spill off a little bit. My knees will come down and just open up naturally at the hips. And so from here, you can roll your shoulders down the back as you reach the crown of your head up to the ceiling. And I invite you to just take a deep breath in. See if you can follow the breath through the body. So feel it come in through the nostrils. Maybe it feels cool or warm into the back of the throat. And then notice it fill the chest, the rib cage, and then even into the belly. And then exhale, follow it out. Low belly comes in, ribs, chest. Maybe you can feel it come out the nose. Again, follow the breath in. And follow it out. Let go of the morning, maybe dropping the kids off, rushing to work. Maybe if you're doing this later, let go of whatever happened in the day and arrive here on the mat. And exhale, keep with your breath. In the next breath, I invite you to bring your awareness just to your right arm. Focus all of your attention on the right arm. And exhale, just continue to feel, maybe tracing the shape of the arm with your mind's eye, your right arm. And now I'd like you to switch the attention to your next inhale to the left arm. All of your awareness, attention on the left arm. And exhale. And now I invite you to bring your attention to your right leg. Focus all of your attention and awareness just on the right leg. And exhale, again, maybe letting that limb that we're focusing on feel heavy, maybe tracing it with the mind's eye, just on that one limb, the left leg. And now inhale into the right leg. All of your awareness, focus on the right leg. And now exhale with the right leg. Now let's inhale full body. Bring all of those separate limbs together, meeting here in the core. Inhale the right arm, right leg, left leg together into the middle. And exhale, focusing on integrating each of those separate limbs. And one more integration, inhale and exhale. Inhale, focus on each individual limb, having them meet here at the midline. And exhale. And we'll roll over the knees. Again, if you have this slidey cloth, either a slippery sock, washcloth, even be a t-shirt, let's have it close by because we'll use those a lot today. And we'll meet in a cat-cow. So hips stacked over knees, shoulders stacked over wrists. Draw the collarbones broad towards the short edge of the mat here. And then on your next inhale, reach the tailbone and sternum up for cow pose. And then exhale, tuck the toes and round, draw the chin and sternum to the chest, tailbone in for cat. Untuck the toes, reach the tailbone and sternum away from each other for cow. Exhale, draw them together, integrating it from that midline where we brought the legs and arms together for cat. One more round here, drawing our arms and legs together for cat and cow. And we'll meet in this neutral tabletop pose. From here, you can just come so that you have one arm off the mat. I'm just going to fold my mat so that I stay in the camera, but I still have my slidey surface. And we'll place the whatever slidey prop you have under one arm. So I'm going to start under my right arm in a neutral tabletop. From here, ground down evenly through both arms. But now let's bring our awareness just into the right arm. So bring all of your focus into the right arm and only allow movement to happen in the right arm. Inhale here, and then on the exhale, slide the right arm forward, staying stable in the left, and exhale back. Inhale, slide forward, exhale back. Notice if the hip is wanting to slide side to side, that often happens. Pin the hips back, draw both hips toward the midline, and allow your inhale and exhale only to happen at the right arm. This inhale and exhale to allow this hinge and extension to happen just at the right arm. And you can play with coming on the left forearm and see how that changes things. One is not better or worse than the other. In this case, you'll have this bend at the elbow. They're just different to explore. And so as you move with the right arm here, you're really firming the hand into the midline and pulling it against the floor. So drawing it strongly into the floor, and see if you can bring your attention. We're trying to really activate the shoulder on the right arm. So see if you can imagine drawing your shoulder as you push down through the floor, and imagine drawing it like it's stuck to the floor. So a lot of muscle, it's not just sliding quick here, almost like you're drawing through wet sand. And see if you can really notice and play with activating this right shoulder. And again, you can play with the extension of the arm straight. And at this point, your arm and shoulder might be feeling pretty tired. Mine are. So we'll meet in this tabletop. It's time to explore there. And then let's switch your slidey thing to the left hand. And again, inhale to extend. We'll bring our full awareness to the left arm. And notice if the left hip wants to come along, pin it back. Draw the hand firmly into the floor and imagine that the floor is providing resistance. Broaden through the collarbone and slide back, firming the hand into the floor. And again, the option to come onto the forearm, one is not better, worse, stronger, anything than the other. It's just different. So just exploring different motions, seeing how your shoulder activates in different positions. Firming the hand so the hand's not sliding above. It's like we're putting all of our weight, all of our awareness into the left hand. Notice if you can feel the shoulder blade, even vision with your mind's eye, the shoulder blade drawing into the back, so much so that it's coming into the chest. And I'll return up here to neutral tabletop. And I'll face you for this next variation. So again, from tabletop, bring the hand, last time we went forward and back, this time, full awareness on the right hand and slide it out to the right. Again, really resisting, imagining that you actually had like a weighted plate there that you were resisting against. You can even see that my movement is a little bit choppy as I'm moving side to side. And then after it's lateral and your hips didn't go with you, you can see the difference here when I'm moving my torso versus just moving my arm. See if you can draw back as though you were drawing a circle towards the back knee, towards the right knee, and then towards the side. And back towards the knee and out towards the side. And so the only thing moving is the right arm. Full awareness on the right arm. Again, see if you can activate the shoulder joint here. We're really choosing muscle activation and bringing our mind's awareness to that activation and choosing what works for us, knowing like this is too much, it's okay to back off, feeling that. That's part of what we're feeling and regulating with that arm body. And then from the arm extended, draw it back to center. So you can really feel this activation of the pec muscle here. We'll go ahead and switch sides. So I'll have you watch this one from the side. So now the slidey is in my left, under my left arm. And then like I was pushing a heavy weighted plate, like a weightlifting plate, with my pinky out to the side. So it's a little bit jerky for me, maybe not for you. My torso is staying in the same place, so I'm offset at this point. And then my left hand draws back to my knee, hand firm on the washcloth, and then push it away. Draws back, so the heel of my hand is drawing into the floor, and then push away. And then pull back. If you've done weightlifting and you've done flies, like chest flies, you might have a similar sensation here in the pecs or the chest muscles. Draw away. And then last one, move here again, noticing if the torso or the hips want to get involved, we can pin them in place, draw away, and then resisting but bringing this left hand back to center. And from here, let's just sit the hips back to the heels, and you can take the wrists together. Let's actually cross the right hand over, or the right arm over the left arm. Spin the palms towards each other, interlace the fingers, and then tuck the knuckles up. And tuck them back down. Tuck the knuckles back up. And tuck them back down. Release the interlock of the fingers. Switch which arm's on top. Interlace the fingers. And then draw those knuckles through the whole of your hand. Bring them back down. Notice how this feels in your shoulders, wrists, fingers, which we're all working quite a bit. Release and give it all a little bit of a shake out. So releasing that, again, we were actively holding tension, and now we're asking that tension to release. So we'll come back to our mat this time. And this time we will move to sliding. I'll face this way. So the slidey surface will be under your feet. So we're at tabletop, and this time the washcloth or the slidey surface is under my right foot, or under the right foot. So from here, broaden through the collarbones, firm down through the hands, lengthen the tailbones towards the backs of your knees as you draw your navel towards the spine. And then just extend, lift the right knee and extend that leg back. And again, as we did with our hands, we're really drawing the foot into the floor. So it's not just sliding really loosely, fast. You're really resisting into the floor. And then push back. Draw the navel strongly towards the spine. So this you might notice this work happening in the core. Navel draws to the spine continually. And then release away. And you can maintain this option, or maybe you come into plank pose, hold plank here, and then draw this knee in and out. In, out. So this can be done from tabletop or plank pose, actively resisting the foot into the floor, finding the variation that works for you. Hip points draw to spine, navel draws to spine, so that the front body is helping support the back body. And then release both knees to the mat and bring the washcloth under the left leg. Again, you might have noticed mine when my tailbone reached a little bit towards the ceiling when I came to that position. So just reset, draw the tailbone towards the backs of the knees as the hip points draw towards the spine. Then extend the left leg and draw the knee in. So my knee doesn't tap down on the floor when I draw it in. Again, notice if the hips want to swing side to side as you do this. And feel free to stay with this option, finding the resistance, or maybe you extend both legs to plank pose and then draw the left knee in. Extend it out. Draw the left knee in. Extend, left knee in, extend, left knee in from plank, extend, and just flow here with your breath. Navel draws to spine, hip points draw to spine, and we'll release to tabletop pose. You can move the washcloth out of the way, walk the handprints up a bit so your hands are a little bit in front of the shoulders. Spin the inner arms towards the midline. Tuck the toes and reach the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And so from here, I invite you to bring your awareness again to each of these body parts individually. Right arm, right leg, left leg, and see if you can bring this activation into your down dog, a pose that we know really well, of drawing those heels of your hands actively into the floor and drawing the feet actively up towards the hands. So these lessons that we learned from our slidey surface, can you bring them into your down dog and maybe bring a bit of a different awareness into this common pose? On the next inhale, I invite you to glide forward to plank pose. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. Inhale, glide forward to plank pose. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. Release both knees to the mat at the same time. Let's open up into a cow here. Exhale, round to cat. Inhale to neutral. And this time, let's bring the washcloth or the blanket under both feet. And if you're just joining us, if you're on a carpeted surface, you can do this with paper plates on a carpet and Still slide around a bit, just a different effect. So toes are tucked on the towel. Inhale here. Let's lift the knees with the inhale. Might be hard to see the way my mat is folded, but my knees are lifted. And you can stay here and just hold, or maybe you can draw both legs back at the same time to plank pose. And then exhale, draw both knees in for this hovering, tucked position. Exhale back for plank. Inhale in for a tuck. And notice if your hips want to lift up, we're trying to resist that. So as we focused on the arms in the first round and just had the movement coming from the arms, here we're just looking for the movements to come from the legs. So draw both legs towards each other along the midline. Slow movement. Draw the hips, pin them back, and allow them to stay low. And your movement can be slight, just maybe a little bit more. Stop in plank pose and release both knees to the mat. Bring the hips back to the heels. And again, we run our hands a bit. So let's cross left arm over right, spin the palms to face each other. And then let's bring the knuckles, the hands up through the arms, and then bring them back. Unlock the hands, cross opposite, bring the palms to touch, spin the knuckles up through, and bring them back, and shake them out again. You are actively holding, drawing tension. Shake them away. And now let's see what we should do. Okay, from here, I'm going to unfold my mat. Slide it down a bit. And we'll meet in our tabletop pose. Walk the hands one handprint forward to set up for downward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Full inhale here. Full exhale. Inhale, gaze forward to the front of the mat. Let's just step the left foot forward, release the back knee to the mat. You can take as many steps as necessary there just to set up for this lunge position. Root down through the front foot, draw the back knee up towards the back heel as this scissoring action. See if you can notice a little bit more activation of the legs there as you inhale up into a lunge pose. Bring the hips towards neutral, so front left hip draws back, right hip draws forward in this active lunge. And so from here, I'm going to walk up a bit so that I can come off my mat so that my front foot comes onto my slidey surface. This is going to be a lot of fun. So from here, just straighten the front leg and then bend at the knee. And already here you might want a wall or a chair to hold on to help maintain the balance. But let's bring the attention to our right hamstring and see if we can activate the right hamstring. A lot of times in yoga, we're working on hamstring length just from this passive pulling position. But in this position, we're requiring some active pulling. And when we're able to activate a muscle, it actually will release a bit more because it knows that we're safe there. We can still activate it. So we can actually work on strength and flexibility in this pose. So just with your breath, you're straightening, then drawing the heel into the ground to really drag it back. And see if you can feel that. And the next time you arrive straight, let's stay straight. And I have a pretty significant micro bend here, but whatever straight is for you. So that I'm not locking out here, I'm locked out. I have a bit of a bend to allow this activation to still happen here. This next pose, we're just going to slide forward and then slide back. And you can see that we're really just going an inch or so, slide forward, and then actively draw back. And it's the leg that's initiating the muscle. I'll show you with my torso initiating, that I'm drawing back with my torso. You can see this lean. And here, The torso is relatively still, activating with the leg. So as you float here just as much as you are able, I probably just have a few more in me. It's a lot of work. Notice your front hip flexor of the right leg. What is it needing to do to activate? And notice the left hamstrings. Whew. Let's stay straight. Bend the left hamstring to bring it back in. Notice what you feel. A lot for me. And then hands frame the foot and just draw that left foot back in. Yeah. And hands a little bit above the shoulders. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Notice any difference here from the left to the right side. That was just a lot of work for the back of the left leg. Maybe you feel it. That's okay. Just notice those sensations. Inhale, gaze forward between the hands. And this time, let's step the right foot forward, as many steps as are necessary. And even from this position, let's go ahead and take that right heel and draw it back. So energetically draw it back towards the back knee and back knee up towards the heel. So as you were scissoring the legs together, and let that scissoring action, drawing both legs towards the midline, bring you up and help you find balance. So a very active lunge even here. Inhale, maybe the arms lift. And then scoot up to your slidey surface. And we'll just start at the knee. So inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale to bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale to bend. And again, needing, if you feel as though your balance is needing a little bit of assistance on this side, even if you didn't need it on the other side, for sure, grab a wall, grab a chair. If you have blocks, you can stack up blocks. When we're feeling secure, we're able to activate our muscles. So if you're feeling unsecure or unbalanced, we need to remove that so that we can really focus our awareness on this leg. And one more time here to bend. And let's straighten. Again, this micro bend in the knee, but even more than a micro bend, you could probably even visually see here that my leg's not locked out. It has this bend. So initiating the movement from the leg. As we've been bringing our awareness to a single limb this entire practice, let's bring our awareness to the extended leg. And from here, as though your foot was along jaggedy asphalt to stop the friction, slide forward just an inch or two. And then initiating the movement with the foot, draw back. Forward just an inch or two, draw back. And notice if it's wanting to go out to the side, it can be your body trying to take shortcuts. It's okay, that's what it does all the time, right? We're always looking for ways to make things easier. Draw it back. So if it's going out towards the side, just draw it back to center. Draw it back. Notice if you're wanting, so I'm demonstrating here using the torso to initiate the action. The whole torso is moving. See if we can just do it from the foot. And maybe you're just holding it extended, because frankly, even just holding it extended, firming it into the ground is isometric muscle work. It's a lot. So just do what you can. And I'm spin. Maybe you have a few more in you. And bend at the knee. Feel what you feel. Bring the hands to the earth. And we'll just bring that foot back. So from here, if you need to readjust back onto your mat, come into this tabletop position. And let's open up into cow. Exhale, round to cat. Inhale, open to cow. Exhale, round to cat. Let's walk the hands one handprint forward. Tuck the toes firm strongly through the hands. Again, from that opening position with the slidey work we did with the hands, bring that to mind here. So even energetically draw the heels of the hands back towards the knees. Float the knees, reach the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Feel your legs. Bring your awareness to your legs. Inhale, let's glide forward to plank pose. Exhale, hips up and back. Inhale, glide forward to plank pose. Exhale, hips up and back. From here, keeping this awareness of active legs in downward facing dog, bring your awareness to your left arm. Draw the heel of the hand into the ground as though you were dragging the heel of the hand back to the legs. All the awareness into the left arm. See if you can come onto the right fingertips. So just the fingertips of the right arm. And then maybe you can float the right arm. Maybe you can even draw the right arm back in line with the hips. Notice if the hips wanted to move to the left, draw them to the midline, just as we did in the beginning of practice. So maybe you're in this three-legged dog, but with the arm reaching back. And then exhale, right arm back to the earth, both knees to the earth. Reach up for cow, hips to heels, sitting back. As we've been doing, let's cross right over left arm, interlace the fingers, draw the arms up as you draw the shoulders away from the ears. Notice the shoulders. Reach the hands back out. Switch open wide. Switch the cross of the arms. Palms face. Interlock. Draw the hands between the knuckles. Draw the shoulders down from the ears as you broaden through the collarbones. Draw the knuckles out. Open wide. And let's bring the hands back to the earth. Tabletop, but then hands a little forward for down dog. Tuck the toes. Energetically draw the heels of the hands towards the knees as you float the knees, and then lift the knees up and back for downward facing dog. Let's now bring all of our awareness into the right arm. Draw the entirety of the right arm into the earth. Ground strongly through the feet as you energetically draw the feet up towards that right arm. And then maybe you come onto the left fingertips. Maybe the left hand floats, reaching forward. Maybe the left hand comes back towards the hips. Notice if the hips wanted to move to the right. Draw them to center, to the midline. Stay strong through the right arm, drawing the heel towards the feet. Three-legged dog with the arm floating. And release that left arm to the earth. Both knees release to the earth. Draw the sternum and the tailbone up for cow. Round for cat. Inhale to neutral. Hips to heels. Let's take a full inhale here. Full exhale. Full inhale. Full exhale. One more slidey move here. Now that we have this activation of both arms into the mat, this time the legs will be on your sliding surface. So for me on a washcloth, hands are on the solid surface. Draw the heels of the hands back towards the knees. Toes are tucked on your slidey surface. Draw the hip points towards the spine as the tailbone reaches towards the knees. From here, float the knees. So you're in this hovering beast or bear pose. And extend the legs to plank pose. And so you can certainly stay with this variation, moving from a tuck to a plank. This is challenging. Maybe you're at this single leg extension that we did at the beginning of class. So it's extending a single leg, and after a few rounds, you can alternate legs. Maybe you're at beast to plank, and maybe you can move on. We're at plank pose. You can reach the hips up and back, sliding in for a pike pose. Exhale, slide back to plank. Inhale, pike up to a downward dog variation. Exhale to plank. Inhale, slide up for this pike variation. Exhale, slide to plank. Inhale, slide up. Exhale to plank. Now we'll all draw the knees in for a tuck. Release both knees to the mat. Tabletop, you can untuck the toes. Maybe allow the tops of the toes to pat on the mat. Just tapping, tapping, tapping with the toes and the tops of the feet here. Shaking out that tension. Release the hips to the heels, hands to the thighs. Draw the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Broaden through the collarbones. And here again, I invite you to inhale your awareness to your right arm. Just focusing that inhale on the right arm. Exhale all of your awareness into the right arm, maybe feeling heavy, maybe tracing it with your mind's eye. Now I invite you to inhale into the left arm. All of the awareness into the left arm. Exhale into the left arm. Bring your awareness now into the right leg. And if the seat stacked in this hero's pose isn't comfortable for you, you can certainly come to a cross-legged seat. As you focus on your right leg, you can choose if this is the best position for you. Now I invite you to bring your awareness to the left leg. And exhale into the left leg. Again, let's bring our awareness to both arms, both legs. Integrate them into the midline, into the center. Full inhale, all limbs integrated in the middle. Exhale. Inhale, all arms and legs integrated along the midline. And exhale. Thank you for practicing with me today. I will leave you here. If you like to close your practice with a reclined final relaxation pose, this is a great time to do it. Otherwise, I invite you to go on and enjoy your day, or perhaps continue a seated meditation, bringing your awareness to individual limbs. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments or like these sliding practices and would like to try some more, leave a comment about it. And in yoga, we use the word namaste to say thank you to the teacher in front of you, the teacher within you, and all the teachers here within our growing tribe community. Namaste.